Even the most optimistic Jacksonville fans ever expected their Jaguars to be in Foxborough, Massachusetts on the afternoon of January 12th. But there they were, in the AFC Championship game, and in the thick of it, right down to the final minutes. Driving behind the legs and arm of quarterback Mark Brunell, the Jaguars outrushed and outpassed the Patriots. And with less than 4 minutes left, they prepared to tie the game at 13.
Picked off Willie Clay. Intercepted by Willie Clay and a touchback.
It marked the end of an impossible season that kicked off in September. That's when the Jaguars' quest for an identity began, opening day against the defending AFC champion Pittsburgh Steelers.
Brunell takes his time with the count, now drops back, quick drop, looks right, fires, Willie Jackson at the 27.
23 new faces joined the veteran Jaguars to give the AFC Central Division favorites more than they could handle. Veteran defensive end Jeff Lageman had 2 of the Jaguars' 4 sacks, and rookie Kevin Hardy recorded his first NFL sack, along with the team's only interception. The men of teal dominated the men of steel.
Touchdown!
Armed with young players eager to make their mark, the mark of a winner. Following their opening day triumph, the Jaguars walked a tightrope on their journey to the playoffs. Lose your balance and you fall.
Let's go. Let's go, baby.
The Jaguars fell 7 times in the regular season.
Ready? Ready.
6 times, they were in position to win in the final 3 minutes. In Week 2, Keenan McCardell's touchdown brought Jacksonville within striking distance of the improved Houston Oilers. But twice, the Jaguars doomed themselves by surrendering the ball inside the Houston 10-yard line. 2 weeks later, the Jaguars trailed the New England Patriots 22-0 before throwing up a prayer of a pass on the final play of the first half.
Turn and launch it downfield. And a leaping attempt is made, but it's batted away and into the arms of Jimmy Smith. Touchdown!
The boost from the Hail Mary pass energized the Jaguars and sent them soaring through the second half. Mark Brunell threw for 432 yards and 3 touchdowns as the resilient Jaguars drew to within 3 points of the eventual AFC champion. The defense notched another 4 sacks and held New England without a touchdown in the second half. After a Mike Hollis field goal tied the game, Mark Brunell launched another prayer, and it appeared these upstart Jaguars had pulled off a miracle.
He's got 3 wide receivers in the area, and it is caught at the 1.
Oh, my goodness.
Oh, he is shy.
Oh, my goodness.
He is shy.
The half-inch line.
Oh, my goodness.
Short of the goal line. We'll go into overtime.
It doesn't get any closer than that. In New England, it was a matter of inches. In St. Louis, it was a matter of time. Despite outgaining the Rams by more than 300 yards and setting numerous team records, the Jaguars' final drive left them stranded at the Rams' 5-yard line.
The ball is rolling free. The referees have got to do something to stop the clock. Mark Brunell cannot get it off.
Time expired before the Jaguars could attempt the tying field goal. Once more, they walked the tightrope and fell at the finish. If a team learns from tough losses, then the Jaguars got a great education. But the downtimes never got them down, and they bounced back with gusto.
1 receiver right, Jimmy Smith.
Against Carolina, the offense had no trouble finding the end zone.
Smith, touchdown,
And the defense had few problems finding the quarterback. The Panthers were held to just 57 yards rushing and were victims of 5 Jaguar sacks.
Turns hands off. James Stewart runs left now at the 5, bounces it up, stays on his feet, keeps his legs turning.
This Jacksonville team proved they could beat playoff teams like Pittsburgh and Carolina. And beginning with the New York Jets, they proved something else, that they had comeback character as well. Randy Jordan returned the opening kickoff 73 yards to set up a field goal, but the Jaguars had to battle back from a 14-3 deficit to claim the win.
Snap drops back, looking on a timing pattern for the wide receiver, and the catch is made. Touchdown, Jimmy Smith.
This team on a tightrope was beginning to find its balance. And with balance came confidence. Confidence to come back time and again in the weeks to come.
Brunell steps back, blitz coming, fires. Willie Jackson all alone at the 35-30. He's at the 25-20. He's at the 15-10-5, and into the end zone. Touchdown, Jacksonville.
Film Session is brought to you by Motorola and AT&T Wireless. Proud sponsor.
The only problem with coming from behind to win is that you first have to fall behind. On November 10th, the Jaguars trailed the Baltimore Ravens 27-16 in the fourth quarter. But there was no give up on this team. The defense held the Ravens in check, and a team record 5 field goals by Mike Hollis kept Jacksonville in the hunt. With 3:50 left in the game, the Jaguars went for the kill.
Cuts it up 5, touchdown, Jacksonville.
James Stewart's touchdown brought Jacksonville to within 5 points. And after getting the ball back, Mark Brunell climaxed an 8-play, 66-yard drive with less than 2 minutes to go.
Rolling out at the 10-yard line. He's at the 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Touchdown, Jacksonville.
Rescued from the jaws of defeat, the 30-27 comeback win was worthy of adulation. And to prove it was no fluke, the Jaguars went into Baltimore 2 weeks later and did it again.
Pete Mitchell making the catch on the run down the sideline. Pete Mitchell, touchdown! And the Jaguars crawled closer to the Ravens. They trailed 25-16, and he loses the football. The Jaguars had it. It's out of their hands. It's on the turf. The Jaguars have it back. The Jaguars have it back. Backs up, quick drop, looking on the side pattern. Touchdown, Jaguars!
With 1:24 remaining, only a 2-point conversion could forge a tie and take the game into overtime.
Rolling to his left. Turns, wants to find into the end zone, leaps. He's got it. He's got the 2-point conversion. We're tied at 25 in Baltimore.
It was the turning point of the season. A field goal not only gave the Jaguars a win, it gave them reason to believe in themselves and in each other. From that moment on through mid-January, the Jaguars identified themselves as a team that was simply unbeatable, although it was never easy.
Blocked. It's picked up. Here we go. Jaguars down the field. Mickey Washington at the 20, the 15, the 10, the 5. Touchdown, Jacksonville.
After jumping to a 10-0 lead over the Bengals, the lead changed hands 4 times. Rookie Aaron Beasley's first career interception put the offense in position to post the winning points, which, of course, they did. Ignoring a driving rainstorm, the Jaguars went about the business of putting together their first back-to-back wins of the season.
Another one out. We ain't quitting. We ain't quitting.
Now, standing in the pocket, has time, is going to run out. He's on the run to his left, throwing downfield, pump fake, now turns and throws. He's hit, he throws. He's got Keenan all alone. Keenan makes the catch at the 10. Tyrone's down.
The game-breaking touchdown kept the Jaguars alive in the playoff chase.
Make it close, I guess. We didn't want to, but we had to make it interesting. Story of our lives.
After taking win number 7 in Houston, the surging Jaguars took on Seattle and battled back from a 13-7 deficit.
Looking long into the end zone, Jimmy Smith racing down. Smith makes the catch on the carry. Touchdown! Jaguars showing blitz. Here it comes. Myra, quick drop, and it's picked off. Tony Brackens. He's at the 50, on the run, 45-40. Brackens leaps to the 35.
5 weeks earlier, the Jaguars were on the verge of playoff extinction.
And Tony Brackens comes up with the big play.
Now, they carried the torch of a winner into the regular season finale. A win would earn them their first ever trip to the playoffs. A loss, and it's home for the holidays. The Atlanta Falcons were the only obstacle blocking the Jaguars' path to the playoffs. The offensive line cleared some paths of their own and created running room for Natron Means. Taking over for an injured James Stewart, Means responded with his first 100-yard game as a Jaguar. Aaron Beasley's first NFL sack helped ignite a Jaguars defense that held the Falcons to one first-half field goal. With 3 days until Christmas, the Jaguars began wrapping up their 9th win by taking a 16-3 lead.
He's going to run. He's coming to the near side, pump fake across the 10, and he'll go into the end zone. Touchdown, North Brunel.
But in the second half, the ribbons of victory came loose.
We're going to play D, guys. Let's go.
Suddenly, all hopes and dreams of the playoffs began to fade. It was the stuff of which nightmares are made.
Let's go get it. Let's get excited, huh? Let's do our job, man.
The Falcons' final drive covered 57 yards and ended on the Jaguars' 13-yard line with 5 seconds left.
Struck down from behind by Tony Brackett. After that 21-yard gain, things are hairy in Jacksonville. Morton Anderson, he will try and win the game.
Hey, you got it, Brackett. Block it.
Put the Jaguars out of the playoffs. The Jaguars' playoffs hopes may indeed rest on this play. It is from 31 yards. There's the snap. The placement. The kick is up. It's on the way. And it's no good. It's no good.
Touched by an angel, the Jaguars were in the playoffs on a wing and a prayer. It was time to prove they belong.
Let the spirit that you're feeling right now, the camaraderie of the greatest team sport in the world, gentlemen, and the most important thing of all is the way we feel right now. Having overcome the adversity to get to this spot only makes us stronger. Now we got an opportunity now to do something about this playoff thing. And we're not gonna be just happy to be in here now. We're in this thing to win.
The man who laid the foundation for a winner in Jacksonville. Preaching discipline and hard work, he and his young team learned together, grew together, and respected one another. As the Jaguars' quest continued in Buffalo, they saw the light at the end of the tunnel. And that light signaled the team's first venture into postseason play.
Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to the House of Horrors. Rich Stadium in Buffalo, New York. No playoff team has ever come into this stadium and walked away with a victory. The Jaguars are looking to topple a Bills dynasty and start a brand new tradition, one of the Jacksonville Jaguars.
Clearly, if the Jaguars won this game, it would be against all odds.
No fear. Everybody stay there. Block, block, block. We're the Jaguars. Let's go.
In Jim Kelly's final game, the Bills wasted little time by scoring 2 first-quarter touchdowns. The Jaguars went 3 and out on their first 3 possessions, but the defense answered with wit and grit.
Kelly to throw again on first down under pressure, shuffle pass, and it's picked off. Clyde's got it at the 20. He's at the 15. He's at the 10. He's at the 5. Clyde Simmons, touchdown Jaguars.
What a defensive play by Clyde Simmons.
The Jaguars own the #1 passing offense in the NFL. The question was, could they run the ball? The answer was a Natron bomb named Means.
35 to 40 on his feet. He's gone. Natron 15-10 down inside the 5 to the 4-yard line of Buffalo.
Means' 62-yard run set up a field goal that closed the gap to 4 points. The Jaguars then got down to the serious business of running the ball through the heart of the Bills' defense.
40, 45, 50. Stays on his feet. 45, 40. Breaks a tackle. 35. And down at the 30 of Buffalo.
We'll wear their ass out. Way to go. One more first down, baby. Come on, Big Nate.
There's the snap. The handoff. Natron wants to cut it up. Waits patiently. Breaks a tackle. He's at the 30. Natron 25-20. He's gone. He's at the 10. The 5. Touchdown Jacksonville.
Holy smokes, talk about putting it in your face. My goodness. 2 big plays in a row. The first one to Pete Mitchell, breaking tackles. And then Natron Means coming up with
with the 30-yarder. Caught in the backfield, Brian.
And the Jaguars have their first lead of the game, 30.
That's the way you play, just like that, man. That's what I'm talking about. Hey, that was Bruce Smith about all this.
Yes, that Bruce Smith, the NFL's defensive MVP. A brilliant blocking scheme neutralized the 9-time All-Pro. Going head-to-head with left tackle and Pro Bowler Tony Baselli left Smith with just 3 tackles and no sacks. Equally inspired, the defense shut down a Bills offense that managed just 3 second-half points. But all the efforts of the defense may have gone for naught when, with the score tied at 20, near disaster struck.
The ball is tipped and it's intercepted. It's intercepted by Irvin. He's gone. He's into the end zone for a touchdown.
Well, that'll stun you.
Down by 7 in the fourth quarter, the Jaguars responded with a defining moment. A 65-yard drive that brought the ball to the Buffalo 2-yard line.
Third and goal from the 2. Brunell in the shotgun will throw. Go screen. Jimmy Smith will get into the end zone. Touchdown, Jacksonville.
The beginning of the end for the Buffalo Bills came 5 plays later.
Has time. Loggeman coming. He ducks under. He loses the ball, and he will pick it up and run. Kelly running will be caught. Clock loses the ball. The Jaguars have recovered a fumble by Jim Kelly. The field goal attempt will be from 45 yards in a swirling wind by Mike Hollis. The snap, the placement, the kick is up. It's got plenty of distance, and it is good.
Film Session is brought to you where great food and fun come together.
With their arrival in Denver, the Jacksonville Jaguars were welcomed with a distinct lack of respect, this time from the Denver media. The Jaguars took the challenge to heart, and the game played out in typical Jaguars fashion. In the opening period, the Jaguars were, once again, forced to play catch-up. With the best record in the NFL, the Broncos ran up a quick 12-0 lead before the Jaguars got a first down. But the complexion of the game changed once the Jaguars got their balance and Natron Means got his hands on the ball. In the second period alone, number 20 picked up 60 yards on the ground and 29 more through the air.
To his left, lofting it downfield, looking for Natron. Natron makes the catch at the 46-yard line of Denver.
With Means carrying the load, the Jaguars netted 2 field goals and a touchdown, and a 13-12 halftime lead.
Keep it on!
The Jacksonville defense kept the heat on the NFL's #1 offense and held the Broncos scoreless in the third quarter. For the second time in 2 weeks, Jacksonville's band of homewreckers came into an opponent's house and took it down. One big play at a time.
Downfield looking for Keenan in the end zone. Keenan leaps, makes the catch. Touchdown Jaguars! Touchdown Jacksonville! Touchdown Jacksonville! 31 yards from Mark Brunell to Keenan McCardle. Touchdown Jacksonville!
We're gonna stay with it, man. Get those feet out.
Toughness and tenacity define the identity of each and every Jaguar who teamed up to make their mark at Mile High.
Take the field goal, make it an 11-pointer. Yeah, man. They need 2 scores, right here. Come on.
The Broncos got one of those scores and still had hope if they could stop the Jaguars and get the ball back. But on this day, and for the 7th week in a row,
Keep fighting!
the Jaguars would not be stopped as they took off on their final scoring drive. With his magic cleats and Hollywood escapes, Mark Brunell has become the most dangerous weapon in the sport. Just ask the Denver Broncos.
4:36. Can the Jaguars make something happen? Pressure coming. He's jumping out to the near side. Pump action, cuts across the 50. He's at the 40. Mark Brunell running to the far sideline, turns the corner. Mark Brunell with a masterful run.
The run may have broken the Broncos' back, and their spirit as well. It also brought the Jaguars to destiny's doorstep.
Is this great or what?
Facing 3rd and 5 at the Denver 16 with 3:44 to play, the Jaguars made a dramatic final statement.
Championship teams make championship plays.
And it was one from the heart.
Throw everything out the window with 3:44 on the clock, and it's the biggest play of the game for the Jaguars in this third down play. Brian, if they can't convert, the clock's just going to keep going.
And they'll be at the mercy of Elway. Mark at the line of scrimmage. Takes the count, takes the snap, turns, looking for Jimmy in the end zone. Touchdown Jaguars! Touchdown Jaguars! Touchdown Jaguars! Jaguars have done the improbable. Nobody gave them a shot last week. Nobody gave them a shot this week.
Less than 2 years earlier, they were newborn, just learning to walk. Now, in the biggest game in their brief history, the Jacksonville Jaguars ran the race of their lives, making claim to the most stunning playoff upset in 28 years. In 1997, the Jaguars' quest for even greater success will go on. And with success will come greater challenges. Now, more than ever, the Jacksonville Jaguars are prepared to meet those challenges with character, determination, and the heart of a champion.